This is The Dating Show.
In this edition of The Dating Show, top tips from a woman who's found love online. That's not easy to say.
And we look at the best way to message and wink when you're internet dating.
And I also go on my first internet date.
Did you really go?
You're going to have to wait and see.
Oh,
You're
right.
too impatient.
I can't believe it. Okay.
Now, I mentioned in the last edition about a new study about eyes. Green, blue, brown. So much choice. Now, the research is by academics at the University of Tromsø in Norway. And what they found is that blue-eyed men are more attracted to women with the same colour as them, blue. But they claim men or women with brown or green eyes don't care so much about their potential partner's eye colour. What do you think of that?
Right. Well, I have brown eyes, as you can see. And I have to say that possibly there's a bit of truth in it, to be honest. Although the people that I tend to go for do have brown eyes. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because I've got blue eyes and I prefer brown eyes.
Do you? There you go.
Brown
it's
eyes.
wrong.
OK, now on these dating sites, the way to first contact people is by sending them messages and also winks to attract their attention. David Adams is from olderdatingonline.com.
When you're sending your first message to someone on the site, it's important to keep it personal and make a good first impression. Pay attention to the member's profile and try and include something about their likes or dislikes to kind of prove to them that you've actually read their profile and you're not just throwing messages out there for the sake of it. Now, your first message, whether it's going to be an icebreaker, which is a general message that you can send out to other members in the database, or whether you're chatting to someone directly, it's basically a chat-up line. So you want to impress who you're talking to. I mean, if you're thinking of something along the lines of, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? That's never, ever going to work. I mean, the kind of things like, what's your favourite band? Or who would play you in a film about your life? Something quite open, nothing too personal, but something that you can both get a conversation flowing over. Now, I mean, also remember with Older Dating Online, you've got the option to use Instant Messenger, which means that if you and somebody else you're interested in is online at the same time, you can throw messages back and forth in the little Instant Messenger facility at the bottom of the site. And also, there's a unique Who's Near Me feature, which allows you to search people within your kind of area. So it will pinpoint where you are and then show you members around you within a 20 or 30 mile radius. And then you can start chatting with them and get the sparks flying. And then you've got a higher possibility of eventually meeting up with that person sooner rather than later if they're within close proximity.
When you're sending the messages, should they be sort of reasonably short, and you've got to pay attention to things like grammar? Because do you think that counts when you're internet dating?
I think there's no harm in reading over your messages before you send them, just to ensure that they read nicely and the other person's going to be able to understand the message that you're trying to get across.
One of the other features you've got is winks. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, a wink is just a way of letting somebody else on the site know that you're interested in them without having to write a full message. And the good thing is that you can wink at somebody when you haven't paid for your subscription. So we have 2 levels on our site of membership. We have a basic membership, which will allow you to browse around the site, see who's available, and then if you do like anyone on Older Dating Online, you can upgrade to a full membership, and that will allow you to interact with all the other members. But before you upgrade, you do have the option to send a wink, which is just a notification which goes to another member to let them know that you're interested.
That was David Adams from olderdatingonline.com. I can't believe I asked that question about grammar. Is that important with... I mean, I thought at the time it was quite a genuine question, but listening back to it, you know, I'm worried about grammar.
Listen, before I go on a date, I always ask people about their grammar.
The Dating Show, brought to you by olderdatingonline.com.
Well, before we hear about your date, Rod, Gilly Hudson did find love through internet dating. Now, we heard her story in the last edition. So what advice can she give us? And also, what tips does she have for success?
It was quite challenging because as somebody who is naturally quite shy and taking the knocks can actually be quite tough, but you've got to actually be resilient and not take it too personally. One of the things you've got to bear in mind, if you're going to do internet dating, it's very much like shopping. people are shopping for partners, and there are people looking for different things, and you've got to accept that some people that you meet aren't going to be interested in you, and some people are going to have different motives. And as long as you've always got that in your head and just not build it up into too much, then it's fine. It is a great way to meet people, but in terms of quantity of people that you wouldn't necessarily meet in your day-to-day life, particularly if you have a job that's quite routine and you have a limited circle of people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, it's a good way to introduce new people into your life. But in doing that, it is getting to know strangers, and they're going to have different values from you. They're not always going to be totally straightforward, so you've got to be aware of that and have strategies in place to make sure that you sort people out into who are people that you actually want to get to know more. Otherwise, you could probably get hurt quite easily.
Well, the producers felt it was time for one of us to go out on a date.
So I found my famous double-sided coin and we tossed it, and I won, of course. And I decided to embrace this challenge, okay? And honestly, this is exactly what happened. Okay, so let me tell you all about it. The location was a chic, expensive-looking bar in a posh part of North London. It's a rainy Monday, and we've arranged to meet at 7 o'clock UK time. Now, I arrived slightly early at 6:51. I was dressed in nice jeans and a check shirt. Basically, I did the best I could with what I've got. I texted 38-year-old M, as she's now known, to protect her identity, ordered a rather expensive small beer, sat in the corner, and a few minutes later she arrived. She was dressed all in black, top and skirt. M has dark hair, is quite petite, has olive green eyes, and is a bit quirky. I've already gathered this by some of her messages and the 2 phone calls we've already had. Now, smiling, she said, "I knew it was you. You look just like your photo." Now, to be honest with you, I was a bit surprised by this, so I just replied, "So do you." She ordered a glass of white wine and we started to chat face to face, sitting opposite each other over a small cosy table with a candle. We chatted about music, our jobs, hobbies, and the conversation flowed nicely. At one point, we spent about 10 minutes talking about cheese. We were there for about 2 hours and it was rather interesting and enjoyable. I found her rather attractive. I said I had to go and catch the train, and then she offered to walk me to the tube station, pointing out where she lived on the way. A peck on the cheek and she was gone into the night. Now, I texted her from the train, thanking her for the evening and saying I was nearly home. She replied 2 minutes later thanking me and wishing me a safe journey. Now, I left it 24 hours, then texted her again to see how she was. We then arranged to meet up again on Friday. M wanted to go for a walk, so again we met at the tube station. She was dressed in a blue top and jeans. The first thing we did was have a cup of tea, then strolled off for a long walk around the park, which was quite stunning with all the autumn colours. Again, we chatted all afternoon. Again, the conversation was interesting, intelligent and a little bit flirty. Soon we were holding hands, which felt nice and real. After the walk, we decided to go for a pizza and a glass of wine, then it was back to the tube station and a solo journey home. All in all, I was there for 5 hours, and we've been texting each other ever since. I keep looking at my phone, waiting for the next message to arrive. Em is now away on business for a few days. I'm hoping to see her when she returns, and will watch my phone, waiting for the next message.
Ooh. So, okay, you have to tell me, has she texted today?
She has. I know.
So what did she say?
The Dating Show, brought to you by olderdatingonline.com.
Tell you soon, Eliza.
Okay, well, it looks like we're going to be hearing more about that next time on The Dating Show.
And we also hear from Mr. Big, the man who runs olderdatingonline.com. He's flying in from Spain on his private jet. Sorry, EasyJet.